successfully extradited to the country. They appeared before the Durban Magistrates Court this afternoon. While it already has been revealed that several of the accused were paid over 130,000 by accused for Muziwetemba Gwabeni, Mkwanazi says as part of their efforts, police are following the money trail and giving special attention to the account used to disperse the funds.
That person had paid the entire group after the job, but he used his bank account to transfer money, and that's a business account that he used. But we are investigating further the linkages of his business account with other partners that he has who transfers money into that business account.
And further afield, a Turkish military cargo plane has crashed on the border between Georgia and Azerbaijan. Officials say the plane had just taken off to return home when it went down. A search and rescue operation is taking place, but authorities have not indicated yet if there were any casualties or how many people were on board. Georgia's Interior Ministry says an investigation has been opened. A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with afternoon showers and thundershowers expected. Joburg drops to an overnight low of around 13 degrees, peaking at a high of 25, Pretoria 15 and 27, Vereniging a tad low at 14, maxing out at 26. Monkey Zikoko, Eyewitness News.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
#MSW. You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
This game will always humble you.
The Room Dividers.
The Room Dividers.
A show that doesn't just divide rooms, we also break news.
The Room Dividers. That to my mind.
Rob, I don't know whether you're a doctor now, you've become a specialist.
As he often does, making meters over the gain line. Reinach is clear. And goes for the tip and chase. Cobus Reinach!
Hey, die bokke. Hulle wen en hulle wen en hulle wen. Al die tyd hulle wen, man.
Has got it down!
Hulle weet nie om hoe nie gewen nie. Wat jy toe aangespoon. Hey, sisakhohle madodana nisixolele. You know what, in whatever language, the box just continue to make us so proud.
And the Springboks prevail once again.
And also congrats on coach for his 50th, and it hasn't been about him this week, and he's tried to make it about the team and make it special for me. So congrats, coach. Thank you for all that you do for us. You have no idea what you've done. Just not even just rugby, just our mindset.
An inspirational leader for sure, but more than that, a transformational one. A man who has turned despair into hope, hope into possibility, possibility into reality, and reality into inspiration.
I can't take credit for everything that I've achieved. There's been so many people along the way that have helped me. I'm nothing without the boys here. I'm so grateful for the way we fought, and when we were able to do it. And I think for everybody, like anybody who grew up in similar circumstances than me, no matter what skin color they are, no matter where they are in the world, and I hope that they look at us and know that it is possible no matter what.
Shirt stretch, Grant Williams, the scrum half, riding the bus. Now it comes right. Williams goes under the post, the big guy, maybe the one to decide things. And the Springboks coaching box to our left, on their feet. What a performance in the second half this has been from the world champions.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
Right, just getting ready for the Room Dividers. Yeah, plenty to unpack. I know that there was no press conference today to deal with the announcement of the team, but there was a conference to update us on a lot of things that are happening in the Bok team. So be sure that the Room Dividers will break it down for us. We'll be going worldwide to Ireland. Because the junior Boks are also in action. So we're going to touch base as well with the coach over there. So Keep in touch, keep in tune, please. This is your platform. We celebrate what happened over the weekend. The box, where was the revenge, guys? Everybody talked about revenge. Stade de France. If you could interpret what revenge is in French and still get it right, hey, maybe, just maybe, but it wasn't to be. 060-708-0484. Great to have you on board. It is a Tuesday edition. It is the Room Dividers. It is Marawa Sports Worldwide. Proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
Let's go! The moments you remember. The games you can't forget. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.
It's for the scrum collapse, as he often does, making meters over the gain line. Reinach is clear and goes for the chip and chase. Corbus Reinach has got it down.
Special try from Corbus Reinach. One thing he'll always do is challenge the defenders around the ruck. This time went down the short side. One defender to beat the chip and chase, classic scrum half play. Some magic was needed from the Springboks. Came from Reinach. There's the hole, massive hole. The chip and chase, Reinach, no one there, no one home for France. Over he goes.
Is he the quickest 35-year-old ever?
Has to be. He's got an eye for the try line. Damien Pinot, all he could do was jump up and try and block it. But Reinach goes over. All in penalty advantage too.
Well, I think that gave us an opportunity just to imagine and run back the visuals from what you saw on Saturday night. Those are good visuals indeed. It is the Room Dividers right here on Marawa Sports Worldwide. Proudly brought to you by FNB, from grassroots to greatness, on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
Dividing public opinion.
Are they empowering?
And setting the rugby agenda.
Do not forget where your history South Africa is. The enemy's desire is to try and erase it.
Welcome. You're with the Room Dividers.
Right, that's why we're diving straight into it, hey guys, because of time. And I remember a lot of people said that France would come for revenge. I mean, they said that the ghost of 2023 would haunt the Springboks. In fact, in Paris, the box spoke louder than words. I mean, it was a statement victory that silenced the critics. And maybe just maybe, it ended the French whine once and for all. Now, the green and gold machine is going to be rolling into Rome, where Russi's men are said to reshuffle the deck. Andre Pollard also eyeing that number 10 start. The electric pairing of Ethan Hook as well as Kane and Moody, I can think of, possibly set to line up that midfield. Probably the future of Bog Rugby is taking shape right before our eyes, and we possibly don't even know that. But there's one big question that remains. Was Louis de Jager's red the right call? Should the bunker have had the final say? I'm not going to say anything more. There was leadership that was shown by the captain, Siya Kolisi, at that halftime change room. And maybe to you and I, that's what leadership looks like. And that's what leadership should always look like. Taking one for the team. Heart first and heart always. And that is why tonight, the Room Dividers back in session. Two heavyweights joining the conversation. Thando Manana, former SA Under-23 and Springbok flank. Mike Greenaway, rugby writer and author of The Fireside Springbok. If you don't have a copy yet, your fireside is not a fireside. And from the tactical brilliance as well to the emotional heartbeat of this team. I mean, from Lourdes Red to the looming clash against Italy. No scrum, ladies and gentlemen, will go unchallenged here tonight. Gentlemen, good to see you. Welcome back, Room Dividers.
Good evening, guys. Yeah, folks, the narrative the entire week was, wow, that 2023 defeat was a scar, an Asaki, revenge, etc. Well, revenge is a dish best served cold, apparently. But for the French, I think that dish was sent straight back to the kitchen. It was not palatable. Guys, honestly, that was a statement victory. It really was incredible. 14 Springboks for 40 minutes put 19 unanswered points past France in the second half. They just accelerated away. All of that French narrative about how they were wronged, etc., blah, 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 was just absolutely put to the sword. The Boks were great.
Great to know how difficult it was to put forward the predictions last week, Tuesday. Mr. Manana, good to see you. But it was nothing to do with predictions. Like I said, there were so many different elements to it. Mike has given a summary of just the heart, the desire, where maybe whatever was said and spoken about before really didn't matter. It was about that collective, and what came out of the change room in the second half showed what South African rugby is about.
Good afternoon, Robbie, and to the listeners and to Miko. I think for me, at least the margins were far more better than the last time in 2023 in that quarterfinal. I think the Springboks, despite playing with 14 men, their forward play is ever so dominant, and it tells you how far we are ahead of the world in terms of that type of play when we look at our forward play. And it's one of the reasons, if one were to add, that we lost a lock forward just before half time. And tactically, in the start of the second half, Sia was out and Ruan Nortje was in. Also, Rob, the mauling. A couple of weeks ago, we sort of complained with our mauls that they were not giving the sort of awaited results. I mean, you'd expect with those big forwards, we outscrum almost everyone, but we had a problem with our mauling, which means there needed to be a concentration on the mauling part, and that maul try by Andre Estes and change the game. In essence, Rob, is I think South Africa have really shown over the test season, learn from their mistakes, which is what is always going to be a case in point. And two, we really had to make a statement. And if you're watching that game at 10:10 up until the early hours of Sunday morning, you applaud on one base, is that we showed why we were the 2023 Rugby World Cup champs. We really were calm after those two tries from Penod. We really took it to them. We knew that they were lukewarm. Remember also, they hadn't played any test match before our test match. So the last test match they had played was in New Zealand. So for them to come up against us, and we have had rugby championships, we have had those setbacks against Australia, etc., we actually came more prepared than them. And only thing that they had at their back of the mind is that they were in Paris. It was revenge. They talked of spy games, etc. So for me, I think it's a well-rounded win that we can talk for years to come. And that's just purely a case in point that Rassie has the best jockeys surrounding him. It's not about him. It's about what the others are doing.
You mean the technical team?
The technical team.
So you know what? You raised something that I want to raise with you guys, but round about 10-7, because there's a future issue. There's a contract issue that I would love you guys to touch on. Because not only is it about Rassie's contract that's going to be coming to an end at the end of the Rugby World Cup in Australia 2027, it's the rest of the technical team as well. So what is the next step? Because it might be an uncomfortable conversation to be having, but I think we need to also lead on that as the room dividers to say, what next? We are enjoying the best rugby. We've seen the Boks at their best ever right now.
But do we have to change that team, Rob?
100%.
Do we have to change? You can't change it. We haven't changed it since 2019. Why do you want to change it now?
Exactly. So that's the conversation I want to park until 10-2. And as heated as it will get, I would love your reaction to it. As Banana was talking, Mike, I know that in response again to the game this weekend at the Stade de France, you wanted to pick up on something. Maybe you wanted to pick up on the red card, the call that was made.
Yeah, what I want to pick up on, guys, just to put this victory into context, was I was listening very carefully to the television broadcast, and as each Springbok name was read out pre-game, the boos just continued. I mean, this was a French side. a French crowd, rather, and the French side too, who were absolutely in the mood for blood. Okay, and when it got to Rassie Erasmus, they booed the loudest of all. They wanted blood. And the thing that I just want to point out here is that Rassie Erasmus just outthought all of them. Just one thing I want to pick up from what Sia Khaleesi said. He said, Rassie spoke to us before the game that given a game of this intensity, there is a very good chance that someone is going to get yellow carded and a very good chance that someone is going to get red carded.
Before the game.
Before the game. He's saying, guys, this is the level and depth of preparation I'm saying that the Springboks have at the moment. And as it happened, of course, something happened.
Well, it goes back again. I mean, guys, you know rugby more than most. That in 2022, again when we played against France, and again when he lost in that game, Pieter-Steph du Toit was sent off. This time around, it was Luit who was sent off. So there's similarities, and you go back to the last time that the French were beaten at the Stade de France would have been that 2023 game against South Africa. So in that whole period, they have not lost a game up until South Africa comes back and reawakens them and says, hey, this is what it means to lose the game. How significant is that, Manana?
Rob, we can't use these words significance and what. It's a test match. It's country versus country. It's a war. And I think we wanted it because of what was said, and some of us even saying we're fortunate in that quarterfinal, which we weren't, because every avenue was used to see anything that they had questioned. And funny enough, they never even questioned the touchdown from Colby, Cheslin Colby, on Ramos. So, on Thomas. So what I'm trying to say, Rob, is we've now sort of showed the French who we are, what we're about, and also the French, in my mind, are suffering from a lot of players. Ntamak was never ready to play against us. You could actually see as a fly-half, that was the poor I've seen of Ntamak as a flyer for the French play in that team. Fiku, as a center, really had no meaning in that midfield of the French. And it just tells you that the French, instead of them progressing in their own rugby, they're really missing the X-factor players they had in 2023. 2023, you had Mauvalke, who was a second-choice hooker, but who nearly won the game for them. He's out injured, obviously, so he couldn't play in this game. And they had a debutant come in the second half, Rob, and I'm surely thinking that he regrets coming onto the field of play. They had a debutant at hooker against a Malcolm Marx who was rampant, who I thought for me was also my man of the match. He had a blinder of a game. He deserved that accolade, although it went to Sasha, but he played once again, another great game. He was substituted in the 79th minute. The French were nowhere. In fact, even the Bill, the winger himself, the left winger, he made a very cynical offense. That talks of his inexperience as a winger. He gave away vital 10 minutes for the Springbok to seal it off in his absence.
The discipline issue obviously was a big issue against the French throughout the entire game, and we're going to touch on that and a whole lot more. And one thing that's exciting, guys, as we sit here and we talk about, the box currently, the box in the future, as we'll talk about the issue of the contracts and the technical team and the coach himself later on, and I want you to be a part of it. Send us your WhatsApp voice notes, send us through your calls if you want to be a part of this here, because there's one thing that we ignore sometimes is what are the junior Springboks? What are they doing when the actual Springbok team, the senior team, is doing what they're doing internationally and being heralded as the best ever right now? That's why we're going to put a call through to Kevin Foote. He's a junior Springbok head coach. This is coming through live from Ireland, and we'll find out how things are going. Hey, maybe it's just a good omen that they're in Ireland. Hey, remember, in 2 weeks' time? Dublin. Hey, we'll be heading over to that. Dublin.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. MSW.
Ah, summertime, sunshine, sizzling braais, and the occasional oof, shame ne? Like when Uncle Pat thinks he's 21 and does a backflop into the pool. Or that quick soccer game that ends with sprained ankles and bragging rights left in the sand. Summers can come with surprises, but your medical bills shouldn't be one. Join BestMed Medical Scheme and be stress-free with reliable cover. BestMed, personally yours. Visit bestmed.co.za. BestMed Medical Scheme is an authorized FSP.
The Swedes have this word, lagom. It means just the right amount. Not too much, not too little. It already sounds like a South African word. Lagom, lagom. And that's exactly how we've refreshed the Volvo XC60. New grille, new interiors, new colors, new wheels. Just the right amount of new to make you fall in love all over again. The refreshed Volvo XC60. The car Mzansi loves. Now, with even more to love. Discover more at volvocars.com. It's safe to be brave with Volvo.
The briefcases, the offers, the suspense. Don't miss a single moment on Deal or No Deal. Weeknights at 6:30 only on SABC2. It's real people, real money. One bold move could change everything. Fortune favors the bold. Will you deal? Brought to you by Lotto Star.
Lotto Star is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18s. National Responsible Gambling Program. 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
Wait. BioPlus has energy drinks? And get this, they're giving you a chance to drive away in a brand new Suzuki Jimny. Plus, grab your share of 100,000 Rand in instant prizes. Every can brings you closer to winning. Whether you're beach-bound or road tripping with your crew, BioPlus energy drinks give you the energy to own your plus. Sip, enter, win. Own your plus and make your summer epic with BioPlus energy drinks. T's and C's apply.
Redefine your style and master every shot with the all-new Huawei Nova 14 series. Freeze every motion in its tracks with ultra-speed, snapshot and vivid true-to-life color. Capture your best side with AI Best Expression, AI removal and other smart features that make every snap effortless. Get yours now from just 499 Rand over 36 months or from 12,999 Rand at selected retailers and receive promotional gifts worth 6,794 Rand. T's and C's apply.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Welcome to the 2025 FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Qatar.
Has stood a man who kind of dared to dream, the architect, the motivator, the teacher who turned boys into believers.
Their first ever Under-17 World Cup finals victory.
I won't say the Under-17's future is leading our future. That's Vela Kubalo, the coach. Are you still over the moon? Are you back on earth now?
I know Oleta Adam is one of the artists maybe that you follow when she says, "Come walk with me."
Jeez, okay, you've done your research. I'm the one who's supposed to be doing research on you, Vela.
And that was the song I was playing as I was going to the stadium, and it has kept me going. That's my song, Golden.
Say, excuse me, Wilson goes, I won't take your job, man.
#MSW. #MSW.
All right, I can tell you that as we celebrate the power of sport and also the pride of our nation, FNB proudly backs the Springboks, driving transformation in the South African rugby sphere. That's from grassroots to greatness. From players and coaches to schools and clubs, FNB is inspiring future generations in green and gold as a proud partner of the Springboks. FNB, help changes everything.
The Room Dividers. Zatuma Manj.
Catch Room Dividers on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Tando Manana, Mike Greenaway.
Every Tuesday at 6:20 p.m. on 947. This game will always humble you. Vuma FM.
What I'm certain we're going to see now is that the rotation is over.
And Rise FM.
Well, from fierce battles in Châteauroux to the green fields of Ireland. Now, the next generation, guys, as we were talking before the break, of SA Rugby Warriors kind of strives on redemption. Maybe you can look at it differently. They might strive for redemption. And after that grueling 2012 clash against France, the junior Springboks, well, undeterred by the setbacks and travel chaos, remain singularly focused on their next challenge. So the Irish under-19s is going to happen this Friday. And at the forefront is a coach who kind of views every single obstacle as a stepping stone to greatness. So tonight on the Room Dividers, we're going to have a quick little brief chat, and again to highlight the good work that's been done within this junior Springbok setup. The head coach coming through live from Ireland, Kevin Foot. Thank you so much for your time. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa. Thank you so much for having me. Great to be with you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much indeed. I mean, I'll open it up. I've got Mike Greenaway as well as Thando Manana in studio. But let me start, though, with that France game. Your main takeaways from that 2012 defeat. I mean, what did you learn about the group of players?
Plenty to take away. I mean, we're starting a brand new journey after our great campaign in Italy in June, July. Now we've got a whole new group with us. So lots of good takeaways, playing in France, different cultures, playing in cold weather, but just giving this group a new journey and a new opportunity to grow together is one of the biggest focuses for us this tour. Understanding our culture, understanding the French culture, how they want to play. So lots and lots of good lessons. And like I said, we went down 2012, but it's, we used 26 players in that game in front of a lively French crowd singing and bands going. So for guys who've never been overseas before, this is a huge learning experience.
I mean, you spoke about the importance of growth as well as, the challenge that lies ahead of them. How did the boys actually respond? So the mentality aspect is very important. When you talk about the physicality aspect, it's also very important, Kevin, to such a demanding test.
No, they were great. Like I say, we actually played against France 4 days before this, just in a friendly game that turned out to be not so friendly. And so that was an awesome opportunity for us to see the character of the guys. And France took the lead early, and we came back at them, and it was great. Like I say, the guys are learning, and the leadership group, I can't speak more highly of. It's a new leadership group. We've got 2 guys back from last year, Asetu and Riley, and they've obviously got this big task of looking after this group now and leading them. So from that perspective, playing in front of that crowd and fighting back and staying in the fight when things weren't going our way was very pleasing.
Kevin, Mike Greenaway here. I understand you've got a youthful bunch of guys over there. Wow, what an experience for them. I mean, there was even suggestions at one point that being at the same base as the French national team would possibly implicate your guys in spying in some kind of way. I mean, what an experience for those guys. What were your thoughts when all those kind of thoughts came through that maybe you guys could influence how the Springboks would pick their team?
No, I mean, amazing. I mean, Mike, their facilities are unbelievable. I can't even express to you guys how fortunate they are to have those facilities and how lucky we were to be in them. They kept us far away from the men. Obviously, there was this rumor going around about Spygate, but we did get to meet Fabien Gaultier, and he was awesome. He took photos with the boys and the staff, but we didn't get to obviously go near them. A journalist did ask me about that. I said, I'm not James Bond. We're not spies here. I don't know anything about what French rugby are doing. And it was just awesome. The nice thing about the French, their main team actually trained with under 19s, which I think is just such a great experience for them. To really get up close and personal with their heroes. And it was just a really good experience for us and for our guys to be in France.
Kevin, Thando here. I mean, I just want to speak about your technical staff. Obviously, Melusi Mthethwa being part of the setup. How much of an influence has he been in terms of being the tech coach for the under-20s, considering that he's done very well with the Varsity Cup and Currie Cup teams prior to joining the under-20s?
Yeah, thanks, son. I mean, Melusi is unbelievable, and so is Lumumba Currie. And we speak about the coach, the player's new journey, but from a coach's perspective, we now 8 months down the line, and the love and the care that we have for each other and the synergy that we've got as a staff, and Melusi sits right in the front of that. He's just an unbelievable student of the game. He's attacking minded, and he really gets this age group and how he wants them to express themselves. So I couldn't be more grateful for Melusi and Lumumba. But Melusi is just he's a gold nugget amongst us. He brings the whole staff together. And you could see, I mean, some of the tries that we've been scoring and even the score margins and the attacking mindset that we took into the World Cup has got a lot to do with Melusi, and just so grateful to be working with him.
Kevin, just looking at the young and sort of impressionable group of guys you've got, What does it mean to these guys to watch the senior Springboks play against the senior French team and just see what drama unfolded at the Stade de France? How much does it mean to those guys to see the senior Springboks do what they did?
No, I mean, it's massive, Mark. I mean, rugby in our country is obviously very healthy at the moment, and we're just so grateful to be representing South Africa. You never ever want to lose a rugby game, but you never ever want to lose in a South African jersey. So you can imagine the guys were feeling pretty down after the game, and then we had to catch a bus ride. It was 3 hours back to our training base, and then watch the senior team play against France with the French. And obviously they took that lead early, and then just the character and Sia's leadership, and we reflected about Rassie and Sia's journey together and how hard that would have been to say to Sia on his 100th game that he wouldn't be taking the field in the second half, because that's what the team needs and that's what the country needs, and how Sia stayed positive and he motivated the team, and then the character of the team to play with 14 men and win. So there were so many brilliant lessons for us, and we reflected a lot around our senior team and just how proud we are of them, but just how we can learn as young men, what does good leadership look like? What does selflessness look like for the country? Doing best for the team, and then what does grit look like, which is one of our biggest values. And South African spirit when things don't go away, how we keep just staying in the fights and standing up and representing our country. So it was very, very inspiring, and I can promise you I was very happy going to bed on Saturday night after losing, and then walking past the French after the senior team had beaten them. It was very, very pleasing.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to know that, because we were just mulling over that early on, Kevin, and just wondering where you guys might have watched that senior team play and what lessons would have taken out. And also when you look at your own journey, your coaching journey most specifically, from UCT to the Stormers, now leading the under-19s, the biggest evolution in terms of your style. And when you look at the senior team and you look at their style and their dominance in the world right now, what's the learning for you?
I think the biggest thing for me is, I was actually in Australia for 12 years, so I made my mistakes as a coach. Well, I'm still going to make lots more mistakes. We're supposed to, as we go, but I made a lot of my mistakes overseas and learned a lot. And I've come back, and I think the biggest thing for me is understanding just the depth and the talent we have in South Africa, and why these tours are so important for us is that we've got this incredible schoolboy system and club system where we get this talent, but then how do we harness that talent and give them as much exposure together at an international level? I think over the previous few years, we weren't getting enough exposure going into the World Cup. And now, my job is to create the best environment for this talent and then give them enough exposure so that when we get to the World Cup, we're not overwhelmed. Last year, when we were in the TRC, we played pretty well, but we went down to Australia by 4 points and New Zealand by 3. And 2 months later, we beat Australia by 70 points and played New Zealand in the final and beat them. So my biggest learning is understanding the players and meeting them where they're at. A lot of journalists ask me, are you a performance program or a development? And I say we both, and you have to be both given the age of these young men. And then just understanding how we build, trust and performance together, and how we inspire our nation. So I feel very privileged to have my job. I love my job, and I love our country, and I love South African rugby. So I'm just so grateful for this opportunity and for these young men that we get to go on this journey with.
Kevin, you've half answered the question I was going to ask, which was basically, we're seeing what Rassie's doing. We see the systems he's got in place. We're seeing that the Springboks are going to be pretty darn good for the next couple of years. The systems coming through, how optimistic are you for the future of South Africa, given the junior talent coming through?
No, I mean, I can't tell you how optimistic I am. I mean, you get an injury or you get a guy who doesn't play as well, and there's another guy just waiting for this opportunity. And you speak about Malusi and Lumumba, they are unbelievable scout talents as well. They go and find guys who, maybe didn't even play SA schools. Or we had a guy last year from in the World Cup team who didn't even play first team rugby at his school. So we go deep and we go look at our culture and we go look at the characteristics of these young men, and we bring them through. And I mean, when you see how the South African men's team are playing and what Rassie's doing, and just how energetic the whole country is behind us, I'm super optimistic. I mean, there's such good values in our schools, such good coaches in our schools. And like I say, our job is now to develop them and get them ready for Rassie's squad.
Evening, Darop. Just a question to Kevin Foot. Can he speak to the influence that Melusi Mtetwa has had for the Box under 20s, especially with the attack play? We've seen it in the World Cup that they won. We've seen it with the youngsters that they've brought in, and we also will definitely see it now with the youngsters that are coming through, like LZ and Felix, and all of those guys, and Ethan Adams, and all those players. So can he speak to the influence that Melusi Mtetwa has had over the Box under 20s and his prospects going forward as a coach that can make it on a national and international level, as well as the influence that Pratuzu Tulanindet has had as the conditioning coach. We saw it as well with the influence that he had in the SA under 20s under immense conditions in Italy, how conditioned and fit these players were. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Kevin, never ever say that people are not following what's happening with the junior box, because that really shows. I know you might have partly touched on that earlier with Tando's question, but maybe just elaborate on that given the depth of the question now.
No, for sure. And like I say, Melusi, he's more to it than just his attack. He's an amazing, he gets these guys at their age group. But he also, one of our jobs as coaches is to obviously to win, and the whole country wants us to win, but also how many of our players are going to make it to the next level. And the fact that Hashim Peed and Chezi Josta were invited into the Springbok squad post our World Cup as young 19. I mean, Chezi's still under 20 next year. But he takes that talent and he turns it into real performances, and he gives the guys such belief in what their potential is. So, yeah, I mean, I love Melusi and I love working with him, and just what he brings for all of us is pretty special. And I do believe Melusi is going to go very, very far. He's a very smart guy as well. He's well studied. He's and he really is a student of the game, and he's also very humble. He takes a lot of advice from people. He goes and he finds out what everybody's doing. So he's just a great coach, and he's a great man. And the same for Tools. I couldn't speak more highly of Tulani as well. He's well experienced. He's come from the Sharks, and he's worked through the rankings there. And now it's only my first year working with him. But as the caller alluded to, when we were playing in Italy, it was 36 degrees and with the humidity over 50%. And the whole way he shifted our program to go into a 5-day training model, understanding that we were playing in these conditions and how fit and how hard he worked us, and gave the freedom to the coaches with a sort of barrier of how hard we had to go. And he really gets it, Tools. He's a really caring man. He speaks a lot about these players and the journey, and he's the one who warned me that after the World Cup, when we land in Joburg, there were going to be a lot of tears, because you sort of walk this journey with them for 8 months and then they're gone, So he does think about our culture and our values, as well as being an unbelievable S&C. And again, just very grateful to be working with him.
Grateful for your time, Kevin. Thank you so much, man. And all the best on the journey. Looking forward to having you in studio when you're back this side of town.
Guys, thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it, man. That's Junior Springbok head coach coming through live from Ireland. That's Kevin Foot, our guest here tonight. And obviously just chatting, guys. I mean, future of youth rugby, never been better.
Well, a very good evening, Mr. Marawa and the MSW family. Well done to South Africa, Amapogo winning their match against France, and a great leadership display and talent from the one and only captain, Sekolisi, sacrificing himself after one of his own teammates got a red card and they won the game. All the best to Amapogo. Great show as always. Bongani Kama from Tsepiso.
Hey, Bongani, thank you so much indeed. Gift on Twitter says that I understand why the French were booing the world champions. They're still very traumatized after seeing us celebrate in the Paris streets a la 2007. He says, so excuse my French when I say that they can fly a kite. They better not host another World Cup or else.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening to the Room Dividers. What an unbelievable game we witnessed over the weekend between the Springboks and France. South Africa is the greatest rugby playing nation at the moment. It doesn't matter where they play, how far they have to travel. They always show up and they always win games, even when the odds are stacked against them. As for Siya Kolisi, what an incredible milestone. I think he must write another book, because he has achieved a lot since the publication of his book, Rise, the story of Siya Kolisi. But Rob, can you please show that play, that isiXhosa commentary that was played many years ago when he made his debut as Siya Kolisi at that time in Bombela? Thank you so much, Tebogoye.
Tebogo, thank you so much indeed. We'll do the best we can in the limited time that we do have. Coming back after the break, the room dividers. As we take this, we flip it, we look ahead. What lies ahead now for the box? Yes, there's going to be an announcement on Thursday. Nothing yesterday, nothing today, and we've understood the reasons why. So don't go anywhere.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live at the same time. #MSW.
Get money fit with Netbank Connect, the new way to enjoy 100 Rand free airtime when you sign up, flexibility to build your own plan, and a choice of a physical SIM or an eSIM. Plus, you can sign up in less than 3 minutes. Get your money in the game. Get Netbank Connect today on the Money app. See money differently. Netbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Hear that? That's the sound of the Total Energies CAF Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco 2025, and you could win double tickets to the opening match. Simply visit Total Energies, fill up with 750 Rand or more of Excellium fuel, or top up with Quartz engine oil, and you're in the game. So join us as we celebrate the spirit of football together, and let's make Africa the home of the beautiful game. Exclusive to club members, valid 30 September to 17 November. T's and C's apply.
At Checkers, we do more so you get extra this Christmas with over 1,500 weekly deals. Like Parmalat Gouda or cheddar cheese, 850 grams for 129.99 each. Save 30 Rand. And Stay Soft fabric conditioner pouch, 500 mils. Any two for 60 Rand. Save 36 Rand. Plus, stand a chance to win your share of 7 million Rand in prizes. Simply shop and swipe to enter. Valid until Sunday at Checkers. Checkers Hyper or shop on 6060. T's and C's apply.
Hello, Mzansi. I want to speak about something dear to my heart. The levels of soullessness in the world. Hey, go ahead. There are 8.2 billion people in the world, and only 63 million of these people are South African. Meaning 81,900,000,000, listen carefully, 37 million of these people are deprived of basic access to soul food because we have all the chicken lickens. Mzansi, this is truly a travesty. It's giving maths lit, but count yourself lucky because you can help the rest of the world. How? By becoming a Soulfluencer, and you'll stand a chance to win a trip to anywhere in the world. You can also win your share of up to 20 million Rand in instant prizes along the way. Visit soulfoodtotheworld.com or Chicken Licken's socials to find out how you can show your support and win. T's and C's apply. Chicken Licken. Soul food.
We are gathered here today to remember the weekends. Taken too soon by endless errands, doom scrolling, and cleaning.
Ditch boring weekends. Live the adventure in the Suzuki Jimny 5-door and only pay in 2026. Because life's best moments shouldn't wait. Visit suzukiauto.co.za. T's and C's apply.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Their first ever Under-17 World Cup Finals victory.
I won't say the Under-17's future is leading our future. That's Vela Kubala, the coach. I go back to Bolivia. In hindsight, when you look back at how you started the campaign, how vital was that?
When we started assembling the team, it was more of anything and everything was when we get to the World Cup, whether they've outplayed you or whatnot, but you'll then say, I take it fully and because we thoroughly prepared. But if you still have to say, hey, we were not really prepared, we were not really there, then you're not happy to yourself, and I think equally so to everybody to say, but if we prepared nicely or we had our players available, all of them, it could have been maybe another story. But it's football. We take that, like I said, we just take it and forget about it and say maybe this will be a lesson learned.
#MSW.
Good evening, Mr. Rob. It's Surifalang here, and good evening to the MSW shoulders, and good evening to the
room dividers. I just want to firstly once again reiterate my congratulations towards the boys for showing that the 2023 quarterfinal victory over the French was indeed not a fluke. They proved that 1-point victory with this particular recent victory at the Stade de France. But now I just want to get their expertise on that particular red card, which left a lot of people confused and questionable. Did they believe that it's a red card? What are grounds for the red card? Do they believe that the explanation by the referee, is it very much substantial enough for Loet de Jager to get the red card? And what does this mean in terms of the setup for the next game against the Italians, whom are no easy team to face? That's what I want to find out from the room dividers. Great show as always. Thanks.
Well, Lufalang, thank you so much. Who wants to take a bite of that?
Yeah, I'll have a go. Yeah, look. First of all, Loet de Jager put a shoulder to the head of an opposition player, so that is instantly the referee seeing red. What I would like to say is, why did they not review it? Why did they not say, okay, is there mitigating circumstances? Why is it immediately not even like a 20-minute red card, but a total red card where he cannot play again? And Loet de Jager is the tallest player in the Springbok team. He's taller than Eben. He's taller than Argus Neyman. He went down as low as he possibly could. And there was also a mitigating circumstance in that Ramos, the guy that in question, had been tackled by another Springbok player. So he was already descending. So Loet is now going in. And if you look at it in quick time, he's going in to clear out at a ruck. And yes, there is then shoulder to the head, and then we understand why red, but why no review? That I cannot understand. I mean, Loet de Jager, he's got one of the cleanest records in international rugby. I mean, this guy, he doesn't put a foot wrong. So there is no malice, so why not a review?
Was it not a case of his arms being wrapped around the player? So that would have given an indication if you have to go for a further review. What is your take, Manana?
There was never arms, Rob.
There weren't any?
There was never arms.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I hear what Mike is saying is, but the tackle count and also him going, I mean, whether Ramos was sort of on his way down from a trip or from an ankle tap from Reinach is besides the point. The bottom line is he never showed intent to have his arms wrap around, and that's why he was caught in the middle. I think the interesting thing, I thought they'll go to the bunker on second review, but also, gents, is it had to take the French to appeal for the ref, Gardner, to have a look at the screen. It was not an immediate thing where he stopped everything and saying, listen, I suspect this. It was a matter of them going at each other, and then it was played on the big screen, as you would expect with the French. So I'm of the view the referees themselves were not in agreement. They were not in unison of what had just transpired, and thus it required the TMO to make the final calling as a unit on that. But for me, Rob, it's a punishable offense. This one we can actually see it's visible. It's not like the Bulls versus Connacht, where there's no visibility and there's a 9-week suspension. When you tackle, you've got to have your arms out to make that tackle. Whether he goes down, there's mitigation factors there because you had already eyed him up and went for the tackle. And I just got a sense that Loet was a bit frustrated because this was not the first time he had done it. He had done it in his 22-meter area where he didn't use his arms again, and he was quite lucky not to be seen in that instance, Rob. And I said to myself, what is he doing? And I feel players, they get so much pressure from other players. I think Loet, to be honest, wants to prove that he is the incumbent number 5, but he just doesn't have it because Ruan Nortje is the better number 5. We've got to be honest about it. He's the better number 5 than Loet. Yes, he can be taller.
So proving how, though, by doing too much or doing things the wrong way? Because how then do you prove it if you are in breach of the laws of the game.
Rob, you want to be seen. For example, people are saying Ruan has got a V8 engine. He's got an engine for days in a match day situation. That's not a Lua Diaga type of play. His type of play is more of an orthodox type of a number 5, line out jumping. You know,
The typical lock duties.
Yes. Now he wants to match Ruan for like. And it can't be. You know, he's got to play his game where with ball in hand, he's quite effective. On defense, wait for him. But now he's jumping for tackles, but he's not using shoulders in that instance. So that's what I saw, Rob. People could have seen it different, but I always feel players, they feel and they hear, you know, someone coming through.
Like the rear view mirror
And
effect,
for me, he's not had the best as a number 5 lock like he's enjoyed over the last couple of years.
Yeah, look, so, I mean, I can get into an argument with my colleague here about intent from Loert de Jager, but I value what Thando has said. But I think the most important thing now is let's move beyond whether Loert was guilty or not, there was intent or not. The most important thing for me that came out of this was how the Springboks reacted. Okay, so I mentioned earlier before that a couple of the players had said that they'd spoken, that the intensity of the game meant that there was a possibility of cards. So they didn't know which position the card would be in, but what they could handle was how they reacted to a card. And what happened then at halftime, because that red card came in the 38th minute, is they just went into absolute professional pragmatism, where they said, okay, Loert is off. What is Loert's most important position? He is the number 5 lock. He calls the line-outs. We have to replace him. Ruan Noki comes on. Sia, sorry, it's your 100th cap, but you have to go to the bench. They just went into what do we have to do now to make sure this game still happens.
Within minutes, you even had, his biggest buddy since he made his debut, within the Springboks, also sitting alongside him on the bench. Then you had a man, obviously, we saw him, he was in tears, Damian Willemse. He had that kind of game, and he knew he had that kind of game. And when he came off and then the camera just kind of went to him, he was in tears. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, and absolutely. So Damian Willemse, who has been like the hero of a couple of games before, man of the match, now he goes straight off, Sasha goes to full back. We've got Marnie that comes on. We've got Andre Esterhuizen who comes on, who now goes and alternates between flank and centre. I mean, the Springboks, just like a well-oiled machine, just slotted into various positions, and it all just happened.
Guys, Ethan Hooker, his best position is what?
Well, his best position, according to himself and those who observed him at Westfield Boys High, is number 12. His position at the Sharks was blocked because Andre Venter is number 12. Andre Esterhuizen, and at the box, obviously, Damien de Allender. So what Rassie is looking to do now is bring him in this game here, and what a partnership it could be with Kane and Moody, 12 and 13, because they will be the centres going forward post the World Cup. And that is what Rassie said in an interview just before the kickoff against France, is that he was looking to play Ethan and Kanan as 12 and 13. I think that is hugely exciting.
All right, so before I get Banana's response, though, let's hear what Ethan himself had to say about the issue of the position.
I wouldn't say there's a preference for me. I think I love being able to play multiple positions. I think it widens my game, and I'd want to be as versatile as I can and just give the coaches as much of an opportunity to play me wherever they feel is fit. So, yeah, no preference for me. As long as I'm on the field, it's what matters.
As long as I'm on the field, that's all that matters. You agree with that, Mr. Banana?
He's a young man, Rob. So the youth exuberance is in his voice.
Yeah.
But reality says for me The future, yes, he can be looked at. He's got to get past the current number 12. I think with word talking about Damian Dialinda going to the Stormers, he's still going to be there till 2027. So he's the incumbent 12. And I think it will remain in that light of a 12. If one looks at the Manu Nonus of these worlds, they can play as a 12 up to that age and so forth. So I would love to see him play 12, but I think he's done exceptionally well as a 14. Remember, if you play wing, one of the wing has to be the quickest, one has to be the strongest, and the one. So you can't have a like for like, 11, 14 is two different positions with different sort of
expectations from
both, on those things. So for me, I'm quite happy to see him play for now in his early years as a winger. I think if you look at people like Jean de Villiers, they were not outright centers from the get-go. They started on the wing and slowly came into the midfield and made a name for themselves in those positions. Jacques Fourie is typical. He played fullback for the Lions. Mike would agree to that. And then from there, he moved to wings, and up until he was one of the best 13s, at that stage. So it's all about, when you are young, is where you're going to actually fit at the end. If one looks at Cheslin Colby, when he played for the Stormers, he was fullback, but now we know him as the best winger in the game. So it's good that he can be given those opportunities, Rob, to play at that level, gain experience, be able to really, because 12 is such a very important channel. Andy Aki, if you look at those players currently in Test rugby playing 12, you can't really much fiddle when you play against the top sides. You'll get destroyed in that. But actually, you've got to learn of other skills out wide, and then you slowly come in as well. So Lucanio Am as well. He's also started as a 12, was good at 12, but he had to come from out, and then he came in as well. So I think for me, it's the same cycle for such players like Ethan Hooker that goes in. It's not an outright where you find them excelling from that position and they only stick to that position. With Andre Esterhuizen, he's one-dimensional type of a player, and that's why I feel Ethan Hooker has more attributes than Andre Esterhuizen. In terms of physique, I think it's a like for he's tall and whatever. I think it could be effective as a 12 if you guys want him at 12.
All right. I know that I had promised the listeners would have the conversation about the contract, but I think to give it justice, and I don't want to disrespect the seriousness of the conversation, I think we'll park it until next week when we do a post-mortem of the Italy game. It will be fair enough. There'll still be plenty of time. Maybe give the last 2 minutes to what you want to do.
Why must it be a subject, Rob?
It's not a subject. It's an important conversation.
Why can't we back it?
What's your backing?
Because my backing is who then, if he has to go, who steps in 2027? That's the issue. If you're looking for someone to step in, who will that be at this rate?
Is there no standout person right now? Mike, if you had to say
Franco Smith will be Scotland coach. Franco Smith is already out if you're talking about that. He'll be Scotland coach post the current coach currently. And I think Van Graan, I'm sure he can get out of a Bath contract. And that's the name that's been touted to take over. But Dobbo is doing exceptionally well. So it's not a one-man race if Rassie were to go. There's a couple of names that you can put on the table.
As a prelude to that, Mike, what would you say?
Yeah, look, I mean, guys, we're in a golden age of Springbok rugby.
100%.
Springboks have never had a success rate like this. Why do we want to change? I mean, Rassie...
He's only 53.
Sorry?
He's only 53 years old.
100%. So, I mean, guys, look, while Rassie has got these structures in place and the Springboks are doing so well, I'm not sure why we would want to change something. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and that's the same for the rest of the technical team then, because that's what he's vouched for. Yeah. That's why in the first round of conversations around the contract, he stressed that he wants them to have conversations with the technical team first. And once they've okayed the technical team, they've got the contract signed, then he steps in and says, yes, we ride together. I think that, for me, is a fair way of doing it.
He created a high wall of that management team. No one, the SAR officers, can touch those assistant coaches or his technical team. He's created the big wall. If he goes, they all go. If he stays, they all stay. It's as simple as that. And I think as things look now, we don't even have to entertain it. Is that everyone who's there as a technical staff must stay and continue with what they've been doing well. The addition has been exceptional. If you look at those that have come in, you've had Felix leaving us and only staying 5 months in England. He only stayed 5 months and he missed the environment and he saw that it made a big mistake and he wanted he made some excuses. But Rob, he knows where the things are happening. And it takes a man to say and acknowledge that I thought I'm going to be closer to my family, but actually it's better far from my family and to achieve that success.
All right,
He's the only Irish, Rob, that has won 2 World Cups. He's the only Irish that has been to a World Cup final, and that's Felix Jones.
I think we need a study of this at some university around South
at
Africa.
a library. You don't need a university. No.
Not that
you
one.
You need a library. You need to sit in a library.
We need a study about you. How come you come alive in the last 2 minutes of the show? And you want to Bull Terrier Mike and everybody else at 1 minute to 7.
You didn't warn me this time about time. I normally work on time.
There's a big clock in front of you. Maybe we need to book a Specsavers appointment. All right, you can tune in again next week on Tuesday for the Room Dividers on Marawa Sports Worldwide. Brought to you by F&B, Grassroots to Greatness on 947 Rise FM, Vuma FM, and Sowetan Live. We had to switch off the mics, otherwise we'll be here until 10 o'clock this evening. Great stuff. Thank you, Room Dividers. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Tando Banana. We'll be back again tomorrow on Marawa Sports Worldwide. Proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
The thrill, the drama, the action. Let the game begin. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets. #MSW.